each input. So each input, very obviously HDMIs, they're all going to be the same. You can just have multiple sources coming into it, whether it's your laptop or your PC. You said document cameras, eventually they'll probably all be HDMI. And then you could do Apple TV, you know, Chromecast, whatever you whatever you guys have to put in there, or teacher wants a DVD player.
Can you use a Chromebook in there?
As long as it's HDMI,
You just need the cord.
Right. And there will be provided. Cords will be provided. I think they're either 6 or 12 feet. I'm not 100% sure on what the user cables will be provided, but there will be user cables.
Do you know how many cords will be provided?
I don't know. My thought would be, since there's 4 inputs, you'll probably have, but I mean.
So I can clarify on that. It's going to be one HDMI cable per Extron system,
And then
for the end user connections.
Is there going to be a VGA as well?
No.
No.
So there's VGAs floating around everywhere in the district, though. I'm sure if you really need a VGA, I could probably make one appear. But
You're
as of
gonna
right
use
now, what was purchased for this site was one HDMI per classroom.
Thank you. So from that, I'll run through a quick, just each input, show you a little volume control, cut through for each one. So let's say we weren't set up on HDMI 1. So say I plugged in, turn the system on, you're plugged in HDMI 1. You've got amber lights on here. This is also an indicator on each input. If you've got an amber light, which means you don't have a full connected source coming in until you have, you'll see now that I'm on HDMI 1, plugging in HDMI 1, it goes from amber to green. That means you've got your solid connectivity, and then your image will pop up on your screen. Again, like that's kind of an indicator knowing that something's not right, whether maybe something might not be working. Chances are it's probably you're just not selected to the correct input on your media link controller.
There's 3 offices.
So with that being shown, you have your image on the screen.
Yeah, there's 3 offices.
And it's a mirror image?
Yeah, and you can select it as an extended. It's just
So you
all.
can put a different one up there than what you have on your screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Of course, I've got ads. I would have liked to.
And then the sound is connected to the projector, so we don't need a separate cord for that.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, if you're using a VGA cable, you do need a separate cord.
Right.
VGA does not carry audio. That's why we gave the HDMI.
But that carries, so if we're using the sound from, let's say we're playing a video on our laptop, the sound's gonna go straight through your computer?
If you're connected with an HDMI cable,
Okay.
or if you're connected with a VGA and an audio cable.
Okay.
So if you do VGA and you want sound to come through the speakers, you're going to need 2 different cables.
Unless you have a VGA with audio cable, which.
Those are pretty rare.
For a VGA, I think that's the one for the document cameras, so if we're switching back and forth, the sound would be coming from our computer, correct?
Correct. If you have an audio line plugged into, so I know like even your document cameras probably have a toggle on them as well, so you can have multiple. You can toggle between them. So say you have an audio cable plugged into your laptop, that will continuously be playing if you have audio coming through, whether you toggle back and forth, because you're still coming through the same VGA audio line. It's not changing the source here. It's changing it just on your component, whatever source that you're bringing.
But you don't, if you're using HDMI directly from your laptop, you don't need a separate audio
No,
cable.
audio and video
Okay.
both run through the HDMI, and all audio will be controlled from here. Well, you can control it from your source as well.
Okay.
So you can control audio levels from your source. Normally, we like to keep this audio level set at a good level, and then you can control from your phone or your laptop, your source, whichever you want to control the volume that way. So. Give you a little audio. I just don't run too much on my laptop. Also with HDMI, at least on Apple products, if you've got HDMI plugged in, you're not going to have volume control on the laptop. On the component, it's going to be all controlled from your controller. So then you will have to do that. But VGA audio, anything with just a 3.5, it's not controlled audio, so you can control that from your phone or from your laptop. So with that's pretty much how the HDMI inputs run. I can just breeze through each of the other HDMIs, but they'll all work the same way. So you can unplug your HDMI here, go into HDMI 2.
It's just like your TV at home.
Right.
You can pick your HDMI.
So audio will come back up. And then same thing with HDMI 3. So you can toggle over to that one. And this will, I'm not sure which one, I guess I would probably have VGA stay up here. If you're gonna have your document camera, you're a little closer to your screen. I don't know if that's gonna be the solution.
There's actually a current plan. What he's currently plugged into, that input there, which has its own pathway up to the ceiling, it doesn't share with the buttons. We're actually planning to relocate that input to the opposite corner of the classrooms. It doesn't make a lot of sense to have 4 inputs in one place, because sometimes you might want to present from the back. So to give you guys more options and to put you in line with the rest of the Measure E schools, there is a change in the works to put a blank there and move that jack or that input to the opposite corner. So in this classroom, it's going to be right on the side of the tack board.
Yeah, I mean, the best spot is where we can see all the students and we don't have our back to them, because that you can't turn your back to the ocean,
So
right?
that is something that's in the works,
Yeah, like,
but that is also something that will probably be done during the school year, probably after hours. It's not something that's going to be ready on day 1 here.
Did you guys cover, because I just popped in, Apple TV?
Apple TV will work essentially just like any other device you'd have plugged in. You plug it to one of your HDMI sources.
Oh, okay.
And then
So
there's not one up there. You don't.
Okay.
It doesn't need to go up
Okay,
there.
that's
Even though, like,
good.
ideally, it would probably be nicer to have it up there because your infrared remote would, hit that. But yeah, it would just be plugged into a source
Okay.
in one of your inputs and work essentially the same way.
Did you go over if they want to play just music
I have-
without the system on, for example?
I have not yet. Which would be through the VGA source.
Just an audio in, actually.
Just an audio in, yeah. So I mean, it can work on all of them. So I have just a VGA cord right here, but I mean, I guess I could plug it into any of them. So say you're in, and I have my phone plugged in. So we'll toggle over to VGA now anyway.
I think I,
Apple and their ways to make money off
Just
VGA cable and this cable and
oh
that
no,
cable.
I don't.
It's okay. I have one. So you've got VGA now, which is going to work as far as functionality on your controller the same way. I have a VGA cord here, which has an audio line connected to it.